so we're back for another D&D movie time. Can you get the staff out of your face, please? Alright, so tonight, as you see, we are watching The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. What do you know about this movie, Cora?
Nothing.
You don't remember anything from the trailer? Well, do you remember when we watched the movie, I'm spacing on the name right this second, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yes.
Well, the same guy that played Arthur in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is going to play the main character in this, named Bilbo Baggins. So you'll see a familiar face. Also, you should see some others. Like Agent Smith is in this movie from The Matrix. I don't think there's anything you've seen with Gandalf yet, so I can't even say X-Men because I don't think you've seen X-Men.
What's an X-Men?
Yeah, so you haven't seen X-Men, so... But it should have some faces you're familiar with. And after we're done with this franchise, you will be able to answer the all-time fan question, Dobby or Gollum?
Dobby.
But I think in time you might change your mind.
Dobby.
If Dobby had got more of the respect he got in the actual books, okay, maybe. But he had so little time in the actual movies, like, it didn't even really matter. Like, they cut out so much Dobby from the books. And you get a lot more Gollum than you do Dobby. So, and Gollum / Smeagol is the real name of the character, Smeagol. It is kind of a heartbreaking story. I mean, Dobby was just a slave who, you know, got freed. Okay, that's great. But, I mean, Gollum / Smeagol's story, it's a lot darker and a lot more, you know, heartbreaking.
What's more darker than being a prisoner / walker / doing against a will that you don't want to do?
We'll cover that after we finish The Lord of the Rings. But, yeah. Let's just say Smeagol gets, sort of becomes a slave himself. I mean, most people would say he was a slave to the ring. It was like an addiction. It was like a drug that he couldn't break, and he was a slave to its will. So, but that's going way too far into the future of this franchise. Today we're just going to watch the first movie of 3. And for the audience, as I mentioned in previous videos, we are watching the extended versions. So, these are nearly 3 hours, so hopefully Cora will have a lot to say when we come back. That's a total of almost 9 hours per trilogy. If these 3 do well, we might continue this on right away, moving into January. Or, if they don't do well, I might just wait till next Christmas and put the next 3 up during next Christmas. But I really would like to just continue on and do like 1 a week. Maybe like the 3 this month and then 3 next month. But, alright, so are you ready to take your journey?
Yes.
Well, grab your hiking stick and get walking. You're gonna miss the guys.
Far to the east, over ranges and rivers, lies a single solitary peak. The dwarves are determined to reclaim their homeland.
I like visitors as much as the next Hobbit. But I do like to know them before they come. Visiting, Mr. Baggins? At your service. I'm surrounded by dwarves. What are they doing here?
Quite a merry gathering.
So, this is the Hobbit.
You asked me to find the 14th member of this company, and I have chosen Mr. Baggins.
Me? No.
Hobbits can pass unseen by most if they choose, which gives us a distinct advantage.
We'll seize this chance to
Take back Erebor!
Here, Mr. Bilbo! Where are you off to? I'm going on an adventure! Mithrandir, why the halfling?
Why Bilbo Baggins? And it is because I'm afraid. And it gives me courage.
So this is your purpose? To enter the mountain? What of it? There are some who would not deem it wise. A dark power has found a way back into the world. Why don't we have a game of riddles? And if it loses, what then? Loses precious every insect. If Baggins loses, we eat it whole. Fair enough. I would take each and every one of these dwarves over the mightiest army. Loyalty. Honor. A willing heart. I can ask no more than that.
Home is now behind you. The world is ahead.
Well, that could have been worse.
All right, Cora. So you just returned from your journey. So, The Hobbit, an unexpected journey. What was this about?
It was about,
Please stop playing with that now.
It was, of course, about a hobbit and also a couple of
Dwarves.
dwarves. And then
What were the dwarves after?
they were after the mountain,
Their home?
home
And
mountain,
why were they not at their home?
because the dragon destroyed it.
Well, it didn't destroy it. It took it over.
Destroyed, took it over, the same thing. At least it'll be partly
It
destroyed.
drove them out.
It'll be partly destroyed, at least a little bit. So
Because that gold was like catnip to the dragon, right? It wanted to play Scrooge McDuck.
what's a Scrooge McDuck?
You don't remember DuckTales? I had you watch that like all the time when you were little. Or littler. Anyways, so why do they want Bilbo?
Because they think he's a thief?
Yep. And why do they think he's a thief?
Because apparently hobbits have feet that are very quiet.
Yep.
That if they choose, they can even be quiet and not that not even a light sleeper can heal.
Yep.
Even a light sleeper can even heal a feather fall in a house.
So what's one of the first challenges they face when they set out on this journey? 3 trolls.
Yeah, 3 trolls. But basically, thanks to the lie, but they are bug infections. They go ahead and say, we know bug infections, but then one thing gets bumped, and then they realize they're literally about to die. So then they say, I have a very bad bug infection.
Yep. And then they face
The wizard, which basically kills them on one hit.
what?
Yeah, I said?
I was talking about the party.
Oh, yeah.
The party. What's the next thing they face? They go to meet the elves, right?
But on the way to go and get chased by wolves, combined with a abomination,
Orcs. And then they meet the elves. They get their map decoded. And then they leave the elves and they run into what next?
Goblins?
Yeah, goblins.
You go ahead and get
It's okay, you can say it.
and we go ahead and get a song.
If you know the answer, just spit it out.
But I don't want to get it wrong.
Okay, so they goblins and the Goblin King sings a song. Kind of like the Goblin King from Labyrinth. What is it with Goblin Kings liking to sing? You ever notice that? Anyways.
And also, first off, the Goblin King from Labyrinth wasn't actually a goblin. They should have made it a goblin.
Yeah.
It makes more sense for it to be Goblin King.
Maybe that's why he's a Goblin King, because he's not really a goblin. And they just follow him because he's a tall man who could kill them easily. And he has magic. But we're not talking about Labyrinth, we're talking about the Hobbit. But one of the group gets separated. Sit up. One of the group gets separated from the rest. Who gets separated?
Wizard.
No. He left. He left to go do something else.
Oh, yeah.
Who got separated from the group, though?
Hobbit.
Yep. And what does he come across while he's separated while they're with the goblins?
Drunk Dobby.
Drunk Dobby? You mean... Go! Go!
Go! Go!
And now, what did you think of Gollum? He's pretty funny, huh?
No, I just saw him as Drunk Dobby.
I think he's pretty funny. Shut up! I didn't say anything. We weren't talking to you. Then they play what? What do they play? They play a game of riddles. And how does Bilbo win the game of riddles? What's his final question?
What's in my pocket?
And does Gollum figure it out?
No, but then when he's out of guesses, he does. So technically yes, but also no, because he also kind of cheated.
Yeah. And what is in Bilbo's pocket?
The magical ring that turns him invisible.
Yeah. The ring of invisibility. Why is always the big magical object turn out to be some kind of ring or something that makes you invisible?
Not always.
Think about it. In here, it's this ring. In Harry Potter, it was the cloak.
Actually, the cloak is quite big.
But anyways, so does he escape Gollum?
Yes.
And do the dwarves escape the goblins?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like the king hasn't
And
done.
then what do they run into? Right after?
More ox.
Orcs?
Ox, same thing.
Orcs.
Ox.
And who saves them from the orcs?
Ginormous boards.
Eagles?
Eagles boards, same thing. They're both boards.
Yeah, they give them a lift away from the orcs, huh?
And they even throw some orcs off the cliff.
Yep. So, alright. This has been kind of our review. More of a retelling of the movie in a shorter way. When we come back, we will give our final thoughts and scores. And we'll see you in a minute.
Bye.
For thousands of years, the world has been protected by the Guardian of Light, or as he is more commonly known, Santa Claus. Over the centuries, factors such as fear and prejudice, greed and jealousy, misunderstandings, betrayal and war have segregated most humans from the magical world of elves, fairies, wizards, and the like. This has resulted in many misconceptions and generalizations of the true nature of Santa and his world.
This 6-book series by Sean Connaughton begins as the current of a long series of guardians is murdered by a group of monstrous enemies recently escaped from an enchanted South Pole prison. These creatures are loyal to the darkness, an evil force determined to exterminate the light in order to enslave all creatures of the world.
Shane Connor, an average young man, suddenly finds himself being trained as the new guardian. As he adapts to his new life among fantastic creatures, he goes on an adventurous quest with a legendary wizard for the ultimate weapon to use against the darkness, and faces murderous enemies like Rasputin, Morgana Le Fay, Krampus, and many more.
Along with his best friend Joe Gomez, Shane encounters politics, history, mysterious murders, new loves, his own hidden past, and racial dynamics among the fantasy races that turn out to be all too real. Their adventures reveal the true nature of the world and challenge the current state of how all races interact.
This series expertly melds myths, legends, history, faiths, folklore, and secret societies into a fascinating, cohesive, comprehensive world of wonder and magic.
From Atlantis to Olympus, from Hades to the moon, and from broomstick races to Christmas deadlines, join the new Santa Claus on his amazing journey. But beware, will Shane's quest achieve his ultimate goal of destroying the darkness and preserving the light of the world? Or is he actually playing right into a plot by dark forces that will result in his, and our, ultimate doom?
So make your list and check it twice for the Guardian of Light book series. Download your audiobook or ebook today from Audible, Amazon, or iTunes.
Alright, starting with Cora. The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this movie?
10 out of 10, it was awesome.
Did you have a favorite character?
No.
No?
Yeah.
Well, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, who's your favorite character?
Hobbit.
Bilbo?
Yes, and I like to call him Hobbit. His name.
Well, there's a lot of hobbits.
We don't get their names.
You got some of their names, like Frodo.
You know what?
What was your favorite scene in the movie? Sit up.
Every scene was drunk Dobby.
Oh, the riddles in the dark scene.
Yeah.
And what was your favorite song or musical score in this?
Down in Goblin Town.
The Goblin Town song, you like that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What did you think of all the special effects and scenery?
Too much that I'm sick of foods. How did they still afford budget?
Because they had a ton of money. And they knew they were going to make a ton of money from it.
Yeah, but like...
Because they made a ton of money from The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, and they made Lord of the Rings?
Yes. Lord of the Rings technically came out before this. And then this trilogy came out after. But this trilogy comes first in the timeline.
Makes no sense.
You're getting the pre-story of how everything started. All of this is going to lead into The Lord of the Rings. That's why this is all very important to the Lord of the Rings movies. Because it's setting up stuff you're going to see later.
I know, but why would they make something last? If it's...
Because Star Wars did it. Basically, probably.
Yeah, Star Wars made another movie that came out before Star Wars, but they decided to make Star Wars...
Star Wars episodes 4, 5, and 6 came out first. Then episodes 1, 2, and 3 came out. And then 7, 8, and 9. So...
That just makes no sense.
That's just how people do it. Sit up. I'm not going to keep telling you. No, there's a thing at the bottom of the screen. You got to be higher than that thing. So, anyways, moving on to my score. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would honestly have to give this one also a 10 out of 10. Now, remember, we are watching the extended editions, so there is quite a bit more added to these, which makes a lot more scenes work better, and it does bring back some more nostalgia. The only real gripe I really have with this is they give credit to Benedict Cumberbatch for being the necromancer, when I feel like, since all we saw was a shadowy shape, we never heard a voice, we never saw any person. I don't see why they actually had to hire anybody to play the role at this point. He also does do the voice of Smaug, the dragon, which he'll be accredited for in the next one, but I think we actually hear the dragon speak in that one, so yeah. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one too. I think it's beautiful scenery. I like all the additions because, you know, I like the fact that these are full movie length, equal to the Lord of the Rings movies, and it wasn't boring. There were some times with Lord of the Rings, you know, that I found some scenes boring and like blah. But here I was actually really entertained the whole time, and it was nice to see the world explored upon and see places I believe we revisited early in the extended versions of Lord of the Rings. Like where Bilbo met with those 3 trolls we were talking about in the review section. I think in the extended Lord of the Rings cuts, we actually do get to see those 3 trolls. And I think where we first meet the White Orc, I believe that's the same place where Frodo gets stabbed by one of the Nazgul. So I'm pretty sure we see many places that we're going to revisit. And we didn't get to see much of Rivendell in Lord of the Rings, so here we get to see some more of it, and that's always a good thing in my opinion. I know they took a lot of stuff and inspiration from the Silmarillion, which I was really happy to see that, you know. I don't know exactly what's what. I haven't read the Hobbit book since I was like 12 or 13 years old. And I never read the Lord of the Rings. Although, I have always been interested in trying to read the Lord of the Rings books, or at least listen to audiobooks. So, yeah. Alright. That is going to go ahead and wrap up this. And we will be back Monday with another Christmas episode. And we will see you next Friday with part 2 of this Hobbit trilogy.